Hey guys, and welcome to the next tutorial. Today we'll be looking at how to create a very simple glitch effect using Adobe Premiere Pro and no extra plugins or anything else. So you can see here from my timeline, I don't really have that many things going on. I've got my video clip over here, and then I've got these little cut up clips, and they're all a little bit different, so that when you play that back, it looks like it's kind of glitching out. And then when you actually play it with the sound, I think it looks pretty cool. So let's dive in and let's see how to create this. So we're starting here with a blank Premiere Pro document, and all we're going to do is import our video file that I've downloaded from Pexels Video. And since I'm here, I might as well import my audio file that I also downloaded from a freesound.org website. So once I've got my video file in, I just need to drag it to my timeline. So I don't need both clips, the audio and the video, so I can just get rid of the video, and now I've just got my clip ready to go. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to basically zoom in as far as you can, or you can go and click this little button over here and you can slide it all the way to the left. And now we're getting into the real nitty gritty of this actual video. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna pick, maybe a few different seconds, and we're going to press C on our keyboard, and this will bring up our razor tool. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cut a lot of these sections out. So I'm just gonna go and move along and maybe cut out a few different sections. Okay, cool. So once you've gone and done that, you want to kind of get rid of the ones in between. So you just want to go back in and delete that. And yeah, you can even leave two together if you really want to. So now once you've got that array of short little cuts, you then can play it back and it looks like it's a little strobe effect. Okay, so the screen will go to black, in different parts. So now all we have to do is we have to duplicate some of those little cuts, and we're going to put them onto the layer above. So we would hold Alt and just drag it above. And then what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're on that correct layer. You want to go over to your effects panel, and then you want to move some of these things, including the position, the opacity. So we're going to bring down the opacity a bit. All right, and we're going to move the position to the left. Now, as you can see that when I move it to the left, you can see that it creates this kind of ghost effect. And that's really the effect that you want. If you want it to be more visible, you can have a play around with some of the opacity settings, but somewhere in the middle, usually seems pretty fine. And then you just repeat the same process again. So you hold Alt and you duplicate, make sure you're on this layer, bring down the opacity, and then you can play around with some of the other settings. So I'm going to change that scale. Maybe I'll move it a bit to the right. So again, we'll repeat the same process. We will hold Alt, we bring it up, make sure we're on that layer, we change the opacity to something a bit lower, and then we maybe move it down a bit. If you want to increase the scale as well, you can. So right now, so far, we've got a few different movements as well, but there's no color in there. So we're going to add some color on the next couple. So what you can do again is you can hold Alt, and again, you can bring it up. Make sure you're on that right layer. And what you want to do is you want to go into Lumetri color, and you want to start to play around with some of the settings in here. So again, we can bring it down. We can change the position slightly. All right, but now you can start to play around with some of these effects. For example, you can sharpen, you can add vibrance, add saturation. Okay, but you don't want to go too far, because otherwise you're going to see this little bit at the end. So you might have to increase the scale for that so that it covers the whole screen. And when you're happy with some of the looks that you've got, you can move on to the next one. So again, next kind of thing, same thing. Move over, make sure we're in the right layer. We're just going to drop the opacity slightly, and we're going to move this one up. All right, make the scale a bit bigger. But this time I'm going to go into basic correction, and here I can change, you know, a bit of the temperature, add some tint, maybe some exposure, contrast, highlights, whites, blacks. And so when you're happy with that, you can move on to the final two. So as I scroll back, it creates this, you know, really cool effect. So now we're going to add some, you know, RGB values to our last two. So what we need to do is we need to go back into effects, and we're going to first duplicate this one, and we are going to search for something called arithmetic. And then what we are going to do is we're going to drag it to that layer, and then we're going to go into our effects panel, and we're just going to make sure that we are changing a few things. We are going to max, and then we're going to increase the red value to about 255, and then we want to change the blend mode to, you can have a play around with some of these, you know, if you wanted to go into some color burn, linear burn, screen, color dodge, they all kind of do something, you know, different and unique. So I'm going to keep that overlay, but then my last one, I'm going to change it to something else. So again, arithmetic, make sure I'm on that right layer. I just make sure that I change it to max. I'm going to add this time a green value. And so now I can go into my blend mode. I'm going to change this one to linear dodge. Now you can also go back and change some of the settings as well here. So for example, the position. All right, move it over, and I'm just going to bring down the opacity slightly, but I'm going to make sure that the scale is quite large so we don't have any spots coming off the side. I'm going to go back and do that for this one as well. So I'm going to just make the scale a bit higher, but then change the opacity. So now I've got some red and greens happening in there. So when I play it back, all right, it looks like it's all kind of glitching out. So it looks pretty cool. The last thing that we need to do is we need to add the sound. So all you do is you drag your sound effect in there, and we only want the sound effect to appear just when the glitch is actually happening. So I'm gonna maybe move it to about, I'm gonna probably start it maybe around there. Don't have to be perfect for this. And I'm gonna cut it again back over there. So now when I play that, it looks like it's kind of glitching out. Now that's pretty much it. This effect, it shouldn't be for a lot of time. So really, like, I think we've probably gone a bit overboard here in time, but I just want to show you how simple it is to do. So keep the glitch effect, you know, to only certain scenarios, and make sure you get some really nice audio that, you know, really adds to that clip. But anyways, that's it. So hopefully you've learned something today. And anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.